school type of person.
Yeah.
Hey, Howard.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Christopher Iannella. I will chair the hearing this morning. I'd like to introduce the other members of the council. To my right, Councilor Joseph Ferreira. Councilor Bob Dreamville. To my left, Councilor Paul DiPaolo. And next to him, Councilor Terry Kennedy. At this point, I'd like to read a letter dated February 2nd. Dear councilors, I'm pleased to nominate Stephen Murray for appointment to a 6-year term as an administrative judge on the Industrial Accident Board at the Department of Industrial Accidents. I submit this nomination to the advice and consent of the Executive Council pursuant to Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 23E, Section 4. Sincerely, Charles Baker. Before we hear from the nominee, there's some distinguished, yes?
Could I ask that we waive the opening and witnesses?
No.
Second.
No. We'll take it under advisement. We'll take that under advisement. At this point, we're going to hear from two distinguished guests. First, Judge Omar Hernandez. I'd like to say a few words on behalf of the nominee.
I'll stand. Thank you very much. Always a pleasure to be up here. Attorney Murray has my full support. We had a nice long conversation, not only at the interview process, but also last week. And he has the temperament, the demeanor, and just understands what the intent of the DIA is. I'm assigning him to the Fall River. I think his demeanor will fit perfectly for the, I want to say, the vibe down there, because he gets it. It's what can we do for the employees, get them the proper treatment they need, get their weekly benefits, and hopefully get them back into the workforce. And he's understood that throughout his career. I've worked with him in my courtrooms at times, so I think for him to be up here, I think there's a wonderful choice. The governor nominated an excellent candidate. He has my full support, and I look forward to working with him and making him the best judge that he can be, and truly enhance DIA. It's another part of my all-star team, and I just look forward to hopefully your confirmation and bringing him on board.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
See you again. Next, we'll hear from Attorney George Ketches. Nobody knows workers' comp like Attorney Ketches. Good to see you, George.
Thanks, Counselor. Very briefly, I've known Steve Murray for over 50 years. I've seen him grow up, see him attend BC High, see him basically go to Boston College, Suffolk Law School. I've seen him work at the feet of his father for approximately 20-25 years. He understands workers' compensation. He's like his father. He's compassionate. He's empathetic. He understands when an injured worker is no longer earning a livable wage, how important workers' compensation benefits are, not only to that individual, but to their families, in order to support themselves and retain some pride in what they've done all their life. His father is just a great fellow. Anybody who knows Vin Murray knows that the apple does not fall far from the tree. Vin Murray is one of the most liked attorneys in the state. No one ever has a bad word to say about him. And it's the same is going to apply to his son. I think he's going to make a great administrative judge at the Industrial Accident Board. He understands the importance of prompt decisions. He understands the importance of writing these decisions. And I can't think of a better candidate to the Industrial Accident Board who I have either served on the board or practiced law for over 47 years. And I love the Industrial Accident Board, and I think he's going to make a great addition.
Thank you very much. Good to see you. At this point, is there anyone in opposition to the appointment of Stephen Murray? There being no in opposition, we'll hear from the nominee.
Thank you, I appreciate it. If I could just thank a few people and introduce everybody here real quickly. To my left, I have Attorney Bob Nomis and Attorney Chris Nomis. They've been great friends of mine. Bob's a great mentor, Chris is a good friend. Obviously, Chief Justice Hernandez who spoke. I am Steve. George Ketches to my left who spoke for me appreciatively. Howard Greenspan, a longtime friend, great attorney. My father, Vincent Murray. My son, James Murray, the best. Sean Flaherty, who I can't thank enough. Without Sean, I'm not even here. He started this whole thing. He's been so good to me. I appreciate it. Ed Smith, longtime attorney in our office. I appreciate everybody being here. I want to thank a couple of people. I didn't see Lauren Green here, but she helped me start this. She was fantastic getting me going. I had no idea what I was doing at the beginning. She couldn't have been more kind with her time. I interviewed with her, then made it way to the governor's office. Governor Baker's office was fantastic. I interviewed with Lieutenant Governor Polito, and I thought with everything else she had going on, it would be a meet and greet 5 minutes. I was wrong. She was incredible. She had detailed knowledge of the DIA, really pointed questions. I was very, very impressed with what a great advocate she was in the DIA. She was very kind with her time. She was fantastic. And the same thing with the Governor's Council. Again, when I got to the Governor's Council, I didn't know any of you. Reached out, everybody's called me, made great contact, helped me out, move along this process, and really good with their time and getting to know me. And certainly, I can't go without thanking George Ketchers for showing up to speak for me. As I said, George, I've known his whole life. He's a fantastic lawyer. He really was one more than anybody else who advocated that I go to law school, helped me get into law school, and has been great to me ever since. And there is no better representative for the DIA than Judge Hernandez. They just can't be. He's the most incredible gentleman, very kind, great to everybody. No one can say a bad word about him. Fantastic. I'm honored that he spoke with me here today. In saying that, personally, I grew up in Hingham, graduated from Hingham High School in 1992, Boston College 1996, and went to law school at Suffolk at Knights, graduating in 2000. Grew up with 3 brothers and a great family. We're all close and stay in touch with each other. Along the way, I had 3 kids. James, my oldest, who's 17. John, my next, is 15, and my daughter, Elizabeth, who's 13. The greatest joy of my life is watching them grow up, their friends, play with their family, their cousins, and watching them play sports. I'm very grateful for them. It's the best part of my life. I went to work clerking for my father's office, which was then Murray & Murray, now Murray Law Office. In 1996, when I started law school, became an attorney in 2000. We have a small practice, usually 3 lawyers. We do workers' comp and personal injury primarily, a little bit of Social Security. I do a touch of real estate, but my overwhelming practice is workers' comp and personal injury. It's been a great experience working with him. I could not have had a better boss. I know that no matter what happens with the rest of my legal career, the most privilege I've had will be going to work with him for 22 years and learning from him and being able to spend that time with him. He's the best, as George said, no one, 55 years in the practice of law, and you can't find anybody who has a bad word to say about him. I meant to mention one thing, I know we want to keep moving. This is a great day for my parents. Sometime around 55 years ago, my father was in the insurance committee. My mother was working at Speaker Morris Donahue's office. This building is where they met. So she's here, they're there, they're fantastic. This is a great moment for them. So this is a special place for them. Yeah. Just my take on being a judge, I've been very fortunate to practice for 22 years. Again, doing workers' comp work, personal injury work, been in courts over and over again. The judges have been incredible to me, especially the DIA. I didn't take any classes in law school that I should have in terms of trial prep or courtroom etiquette. My first experiences in the courtroom were at the DIA, and I didn't know where to stand, when to talk, when not to talk. I knew nothing. So I was obviously nervous about my case, but I was more nervous about the way the judges were going to expose me for not knowing what I'm doing. It never happened. The judges up there were incredible to me, and have always been. I was in awe of the way they performed, and I still are. Their knowledge, their temperament, their ability to handle cases, keep people happy, it's a level I never considered myself to be at. I still don't. They're fantastic. I can't say enough good things about them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Before I go to the councilors for questions, I do want to introduce to my right, Councilor Marilyn Petito-Devaney, and to my left, Councilor Eileen Duff.
Good to see
At
you.
this point, we'll hear from Councilor Duff.
Thank you. I apologize. I was talking to one of the state reps in my district who grabbed me in the hall. I think your resume is fabulous, and your witnesses are obviously as good as they get for this sort of thing, so congratulations on that. I really don't have any questions. You're eminently qualified for this job. I appreciate that you've applied for it. I think the public should know that folks like you can probably make a lot more money in private practice, and so the fact that you step up to serve as a public servant, I deeply appreciate it. and to your family as well, because it is, I'm sure, some sacrifice to have you do that. So that's really, all I have to say. Sorry, I don't have a barrage of questions. I don't believe in tricking people or the gotcha questions anyway. But I think it's important that people understand that well-qualified people are often making a sacrifice to themselves financially and to their families to do this work. And I, as a citizen of the Commonwealth, deeply appreciate it. So thank you. Thanks for applying.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next we'll hear from Councilor Terry.
I don't have any questions for you. We talked on the phone. You answered all my questions. You did say something very important in your opening statement, that you didn't know when to talk and when not to talk. That's a valuable lesson people can learn in this room. But you had great witnesses, people I respect a lot. Your councilor, Councilor Iannella, is a huge supporter of yours.
Yes.
When you got nominated, he called me up instantly. Sean was all over me about you too, so you have my support.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next we'll hear from Councilor Paul McCollum.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning.
Good morning.
So, as was just said, your Councilor Iannella was a huge supporter, and at the end of the day, this is about the right temperament and a good reputation and protecting injured workers in Massachusetts.
Yes.
I
So,
agree.
I don't have any questions for you. I feel confident you're going to serve the people in Massachusetts well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Robert Juvenile.
Thank you. You have three things going for you today. One is, I've known your father, I think, when I first started practicing 43 years ago. His sons, his grandkids would be eyed for them just because they're his.
Thank you.
Because he's such a great lawyer and he's such a great guy. And so I think you're going to be a good lawyer. You were a good lawyer and you'll be a great judge. You've had two great witnesses. George Ketchitz, I don't even do BIA work, and he is a legend in that.
Yes.
He's like a god, for Christ's sake. And plus he has an office in Milton where I'm. Your chief Hernandez, who's just been up here so many times, we're going to make him adopt him. And the chairman, Chris Iannella, was a big backer. He was like from day one.
Thank you.
So I'm voting for him.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Councilor DeMann.
Good
Nice
morning.
to see
Good
you
to see you
again.
again.
Thank you for all the time you afforded me. It was such a pleasure
You
meeting
had a
you.
blast. They love you over there.
No, really. So now you're in the Hall of Fame for the Belgian waffles. I just want to say that I can't stop smiling. I am so pleased.
Thank you.
And as far as, I told you, you're going to have the greatest boss.
No question about that.
I was honored to preside over OMA three times. And it couldn't be a better chair. It couldn't be even more compassionate or supportive of the board and the injured worker. And that's very important
I
to me.
agree.
So I love your experience. Not only 22 years, but actually it's 26 years because you worked 4 years for your dad, and you did all of that work before you were a lawyer. Now, what do you think is the greatest attribute to bring to the industrial accident board?
Fairness. I mean, I've, the purpose of the DIA is to protect the injured worker and make sure they're receiving some compensation while they're injured, while they get hurt on the work, on the job, and to take care of their rights. But cases come before, and they're not always easy cases. So a judge has to look at each case by case, be fair, be equitable, do the right thing in the cases. In my experience with all the judges up there, it's always been the case. I've had cases go before judges, and I know I was on the wrong side, and they ruled against them. It wasn't the judge's fault. I didn't have a great case, and I've had cases that my client was really entitled to benefits, and the judge would do the right thing. So just being fair and going case by case is probably the most important thing I see.
Well, I have said it many, many times. I will never vote for anyone who doesn't have compassion and empathy, and you have it.
Thank you.
And I saw that when I met with you, talking about your family, how proud you are of your children and your dad and your mom. I was, that means a lot to me.
Thank you.
And you have an understanding of people that you're representing. that have to put food on the table. Now, is there any, this might be a little different, but is there any one complex case that you can recall to talk about?
I guess, one of the most recent ones I had was actually a death case. We represented the spouse of a construction accident where a young husband was killed by a crane. And the way the workers' comp statute is set up, the spouse gets about a little less than 5 years worth of benefits. And then at the end of that, if she's deemed to be self-supporting, she comes off benefits forever. She was young, they had just been married, they were a great couple, she had just bought a house, and then he died. Obviously, no one plans for that. And we went through 5 years with her. She was fantastic, but she didn't get any better. She was grieving and it wasn't making a great recovery. And her benefits stopped after 5 years. She had an income during the 5 years she was teaching school, and then when she struggled with her mental health, she stopped teaching and her income went down. And sure, rightfully said, she's shown the capacity to earn, to be self-supporting, she just chooses not to. So we filed a claim with Judge McNamara, and it went before her, and she kept my client on benefits. It was very important to her, it was an important case to me, because she wasn't in a good spot mental health-wise, but if they took away her benefits forever, I think it would have led to more suffering from her, and that, I don't think what anybody wants to see. The judge was great with it, did the right thing, even the insurance counsel after was very happy for her, so the judge did a great job, worked out all the way around.
So you have followed up on some of your clients to see how they're doing?
Yes, we're a small firm, we have 3 attorneys, so my father has done a great job over his 50 years of cultivating a practice where it's a family atmosphere. We have clients of his, now we have their children and their cousins and their neighbors. That's the way we get business. We don't have big clients who are sending us cases over and over again. We're word of mouth, we're referral based, so we stay in touch with all our clients. As he taught me, as I do, just because we like our clients for the most part, we get involved with their families, and also as a way of future business. We stay in touch with them, and it's great. It's a family atmosphere.
Well, it says a lot about your caring that it doesn't stop once the case is over, but you follow up in that tragic case with the woman going through mental issues and everything. That's very important to me.
Thank you.
And I think especially, I look for compassion on any of the positions, but most especially in the industrial accident board, and to be understanding and to the fairness, right? And to be polite, and I've been here, and we had one that wasn't polite and was rude, and that's not what we're about in Massachusetts, and not the Industrial Action Board. And as someone who's been elected 22 years, I'm very proud of the Industrial Board and the people that serve on it. And of course, I can't say enough about my friend Omar. But I just, I couldn't be more pleased. I told you that when I met with you. And so you're going to be such a great addition. And not only that, but you'll be a mentor to someone who's been 5 years and with experience, that you've seen it all. And you learned from your father before you even worked. So I'm just so pleased.
Thank you.
And I don't have a poker face, so I can't stop smiling.
Thank you.
So, and thank you for the time. I
It was
mean,
great.
I really enjoyed it.
Fun.
I think, I have a policy, 22 years I've had with everyone, from judge to parole board. I want to know the whole person. This isn't it.
Right.
And I got to know you and your roots, your father, your family, and this is what I'm voting for. That's who you're going to present for the workers. So thank you. Thank you for applying.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilor Devaney. I don't have any questions. We had lengthy conversations. What an all-star team you have here. I mean, start off with the main guy here, George Ketchies. You got Bob Nomas. I don't know everyone here. Good to see Ed Smith, and hey, Sean, he's taking the whole off the charge. But yeah, great team you have here. You're going to be a great addition. I mean, I had a nice conversation with you and Pierre compassionate, you're going to be fair, and I feel pretty good that if it's a tie, you're going to give it to the employee, as I think we all in the room agree. Again, it's good to see your folks here, your son here. It's a proud moment for you, and I enthusiastically look forward next week to supporting you and putting your name before the council.
Thank you again.
Thank you very much, and thank everyone for coming today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Oh, my goodness.
You got me.
How are you? Nice to see you. This is Dad.
Yeah, I remember it was so nice that day.
That makes me
Good luck, yeah. Enjoy it. Yeah.